Hello, everyone. Let me just get my screen set up for you. Righty. I just want to confirm, can everyone see my PowerPoint okay? If you just want to put a thumbs up or put in the chat that everything's looking good on your end. All right, thank you. I already see some thumbs up. Really appreciate it. So welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Welcome to the first Tech Tuesday of the new year. My name's Vanessa, and I'm going to be talking to you about using Canva to do a little bit of graphic design, especially if you're completely new to graphic design. Canva is a great tool. Before we get started, I just wanted to let everyone know I am recording today's session. So if there's something that you miss and want to go back and review, or even share this with colleagues later on so that all of you can use Canva in your department, I'll be sending a follow-up email after the session's done with a link to this recording, as well as any other links that I happen to bring up today so that you can go back and take a look and refer to it. So don't worry about having to scramble to write anything down. You'll get everything in an email after the session's over. I also want to encourage you that if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put them in the chat. We do have quite a lot of people registered for the session, so I do have everyone's microphones automatically turned off. But if you have a question, please, again, you can put it in the chat. You can raise your hand if you want to ask the question over the microphone. I can definitely unmute you. And we do have a couple of people on the branding team attending the session. I believe I already saw Don Hansen, and Nancy Rader, I believe, is also joining us. So we're going to be talking about how to use Canva with the Weill Cornell branded templates that are available as well. So if there are any questions you have about branding and specifically, they'll be on the call as well so that they can answer any questions in the chat. So let's get started. All right, so what is Canva? So Canva is a free graphic design tool that's web-based, and it allows you to create a bunch of different types of collateral, things like flyers, posters. I've listed a few options on the screen, but there's even more than that. If you manage the social media, for example, of your department, and you want a quick graphic to post along with any messaging that you've got, Canva is a great way to pull that together very quickly and just create something that's very visually engaging. So somebody just stops and takes a look and spends time reading whatever message you've got to share with them. So why should you use Canva? It is a completely free tool to sign up. You don't have to request it from ITS. It's actually not something we license, and I'll go into that in just a little bit. But all you have to do is go to Canva's website, create an account, and you're ready to go. And the reason that we encourage using Canva is that it's very easy to use. And this is critical if you've never used a graphic design tool before or have any experience or little experience in graphic design. I've certainly done sessions in the past where I've talked about using design tools like InDesign, using Photoshop, and those are fantastic tools, and I definitely encourage people to explore them and get to know them. But the reality is that the learning curve for those tools is quite large. And if you're trying to do something today to create a flyer for an event that's going on in your department, you might not necessarily have the time to learn those tools. So Canva is a great option to create those designs quickly and still have them look very professional and nice. It's available anywhere you have internet access. This isn't software that you have to download to your device. If you've got the internet, all you have to do is go to canva.com and you can just start using it wherever you are. And the other great thing is that we've got a lot of Weill Cornell Medicine branded templates that are currently available to use on Canva. So if there's something that you need to create for your department, again, a flyer, a brochure, something like that, Canva is available so that you can make something that's professional looking while adhering to the branding guidelines like colors, logos, things like that, and making sure that you are in compliance. So there are two types of Canva accounts. There is a free version and a pro paid version. I've put up a little table on the screen that compares them, but what I usually recommend is just to sign up for the free account first to determine if you'd benefit from the pro account later. And honestly, you can do anything in the free account for the most part. There are some perks for the paid account, But for the free version, there's hundreds of thousands of templates and stock images that you can choose from to make something that looks really nice. You've got 5 gigs of storage, so there's a little bit of storage available, and anything that you create in Canva, you can actually download to your own computer. So if you run out of space, you can just download them to your device and then free up some space that way. You can save in a few file formats in the free version, so PDF, JPEG, PNG. If you're creating a video or something with motion graphics, there is an option to download MP4s. And you can also share drafts with colleagues. So if you design something and want to share it with them so somebody can review it, you can do that through Canva, and they don't even need a Canva account to view the content. The biggest differences with the paid account are obviously that it's paid, it's $15 a month, and there are just so many more what they call premium templates. And you'll see what those are in just a little bit when I go into Canva, but you'll see that anything that is part of the paid account will have a little crown icon next to it. And you'll see that while the free designs are quite nice, there's just a little bit of a maybe extra oomph that the paid features have. And we'll go into that. But I would say, stick with the free account first, see how you like it. If you're finding that you are in Canva a lot and are using it and want those, premium options, you can definitely pay for it. Again, this isn't licensed by ITS. So if you want a paid account, you would not have to go through ITS. You would just go through Canva directly to set up that account. And I think the biggest thing about the paid account is that it offers 24/7 customer support with Canva. So again, if you're using this tool a lot and you're finding that you need to contact support for extra help, the paid version might be the way to go. Although if you're using the free account, there is a big knowledge base that you always have access to if you have any questions about how to do anything. So I'll show you where that is in just a bit. So accessing the Weill Cornell templates, like I said, there are a few templates available for Weill Cornell in Canva that you can use. And please, someone on the brand team, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the available templates right now, if you go to the brand website that's displayed on the screen, we've got brochures, flyers, and physician profile cards. And I also believe that we might be working on a newsletter template, but again, please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. And if you have any questions about the brand or branded templates, you can always contact our branding team. Again, that's Nancy Rader and Dawn Hansen at brands@med.cornell.edu, and they'll be happy to answer. So very quickly, how do we access Canva? Super easy. Oh, and I just wanted to point out in the chat, in case nobody's following, Nancy has responded that newsletter templates are now posted on the Brand Center. Awesome. So to get to Canva, all you need to do is go to canva.com. Again, it's not something that you need to go through ITS for. Just head over to that website. If you've never set up an account before, what's going to happen is there's going to be a huge link in the middle of the screen that just says create account. And you just follow the steps to do that by putting in an email address to create your account. And I know I've mentioned this a few times, but I feel like it's really important. Canva is a third-party tool. It is not licensed through ITS. So if you had questions about how to do something in Canva, you wouldn't be able to call the ITS service desk for any help. Our technicians are unfortunately not going to know what to do to help you because it's not something we license. But if you do need some help with Canva, I highly recommend going to Canva's knowledge base, which is canva.com/help. It is a massive knowledge base, and all you have to do is type in what you're trying to do into the search field, and a bunch of articles come up. I've used it myself. I actually find it to be quite helpful. So I'll be sure to send these links to you after the session is over. So if you do need some extra help with Canva, you know where to go. All right, so let's get started with the demonstration. I'm going to check the chat really quick to see if we have any questions. So how does it compare to PowerPoint for presentations? That was a question from Lois. So that's a great question, Lois. I think it really depends on your preference. I think that it's not going to be quite as robust as making a presentation in PowerPoint. I mean, that's kind of the original application, and PowerPoint has a lot of options for, specific animations. It's just got a lot of bells and whistles. I think that Canva has a lot of the same features in terms of putting in, text, maybe little tweaks of animation. You could put in images kind of the same way. I don't know that a branded Canva template is available. So if you want to do a presentation, representing Weill Cornell, you probably want to use the template that's available on the branded website that would be directly into PowerPoint. So that would be the biggest difference, I would think. Let me go into my browser really quick. So for those of you who have not been to the Brand Center before, this is the Brand Center website, brand.weill.cornell.edu. If you go to the templates tab right here, these are all the templates that are available. Not all of these are available in Canva. Like obviously PowerPoint is kind of its own thing, but there are a few of these that do have Canva templates available. So brochures, for example, if I go in there, you'll see that there are a few options for brochures. You've got trifolds, they're co-branded with NYP, and you've got, I think, a 4-panel. Yep, so you've got a few options here. And if you wanted to use the Canva template for these, all you'd have to do is click this link that's associated with each option. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to download a document. Now, the document here has a bunch of instructions that are really helpful on how to access Canva if you've never done it before. So you can go through these, whenever you have a chance to. But the biggest thing I want to show you is that the template is actually available right here at this huge hyperlink at the top. So I'm going to click it, and it's going to take me directly into Canva. And it's going to take a few seconds, so just let it think. So here we go. A template was created for you that is shared with you, and you can start designing. And if I want to use this template that's available to me from the branding team, all I have to do is click Use Template for Design. And that is going to open up. Right now I'm in Canva. So I have an account already. It opened up directly into my account. And here is the Weill Cornell branded template. You'll notice that you've got this reference sheet at the top that has the brand colors. It has hexadecimal codes so that you can input that where you need to. And we've also got the font that is recommended for this particular template. And if I wanted to change anything about this template, all I'd have to do is just click on a box somewhere and change it. Right now, these pages are locked, meaning that I can't change anything. But if I just want to unlock it, I just have to click this little lock icon, and then I can start editing things I wanted. So for example, if I was not in the Department of Pediatrics, I'm in ITS, and I wanted to change that logo, I can absolutely switch it out. I've got text here, so maybe I just click and highlight it and say ITS information. And all it is just clicking on things and changing them within the template. I'm actually going to start a template from scratch just so you can see all the features available in Canva. But just before I do that, when you're done designing one of these templates, you'll see that there are quite a lot of pages here. For a brochure, it's usually just 2 pages. It's a front and a back side. Anything that you don't need, like this reference sheet, for example, all you're going to have to do is delete it and delete any pages that you might not need for this design. And then go into your share and download the file as, I would recommend actually a PDF if you're planning to print it. It is a brochure. And then you can download it to your device. So this is how the branded templates work on the branded page so that you can make any updates, change any photos that you would like. And I'm going to open up a blank document just so you can see how you update text and how you update images, just because I don't want to kind of destroy this lovely template that's put together. I'm going to kind of really dig into the tool. So let me go to my homepage. So this is what it looks like after you create a Canva account. This is your dashboard, and Canva just asks you, what are you going to design today? And there's a lot of recommendations here in the center. There's also some recommendations here in the middle and some recent designs like the one I just opened of that trifold brochure. They're hanging out here in the middle. You'll actually see I did create a flyer at one point using one of the branded templates. This is one that I just pulled from the brand website, and I just made updates. I put in these images, I changed all the text, I slapped in a QR code, and it took me a few minutes, and it was very, very easy. So let me go back to the homepage. All right, so you'll notice here on the left, you have a menu, And there's this little crown icon that I mentioned before. Anything that has a crown icon is what is part of the paid account. So if you don't have Canva Pro, you don't have access to these crown icon sections. However, this section is called brand, and that just lets you upload things like the brand colors or your logo that you can use, and it kind of packages it so it's like easily available for any design you create. That doesn't mean in the free account that you can't use branded colors and that you can't use Weill Cornell logos. It just means that they've created a nice little feature that packages it very easily so you don't have to constantly upload those things. So if we go into projects, I can see everything that I've ever created. So here's a few things that I've worked on, and I can create folders here to organize my items. If I want to throw or delete or open anything, I can just click on the three dots here, and I can click it to edit it and go into the file. I can move it to a folder. I can download it, share with other people, or completely delete it and move it into the trash. If I want to create something brand new, there's this big button at the top right that says create a design. So that's what we're going to do right now. And Canva is going to suggest many options here. You can see I can do documents, flyers, videos even, which unfortunately I don't have the time to go into today, but things like YouTube thumbnails. If you do videos and you want a nice little graphic that's kind of the introduction visually to your video, you can create them here in Canva. You can do social media posts, posters, Instagram story. There's a ton of things here. We're going to keep it simple today and just do a quick flyer because it's one page. And you'll see that Canva has taken me to a blank canvas. The first thing I would recommend you do is actually give this blank file a name. Otherwise, everything that you create is going to be called untitled design. And that gets very hard to distinguish as you create more and more in Canva. So I'm going to call this Tech Tuesday Flyer 2, because I think this is the second one I've created. And I'm just going to click out of there and we're ready to go. The nice thing about Canva as well is that it also auto saves everything that I do every few seconds. You can see that the last steps that you've done have been saved by hovering over this little cloud icon, and you can see it says all changes saved. So you don't have to worry too much about things, building something and then losing it. Canva is helping you out on the back end and saving all of those changes for you. So let's say I kind of want to create a flyer for an event that has to do with virtual reality. That's the hot thing nowadays. I'm sure many of you maybe bought a Meta headset for a loved one over the holidays. I don't know. I saw a few people with one in my feed. But I want to create a flyer inviting people to an event that's talking about virtual reality. So you can start from a blank canvas, just putting in things like text, elements, draw on it even. But normally what I recommend is that if you're completely new to graphic design, head over to the design tab here on the left, and you'll see that there are a bunch of templates that are available. So there's a lot of different templates here. They're about different topics. So you might want to narrow it down, and maybe I want to look up a word like technology to find templates that match that theme. So I'm going to hit enter, and here we go. Here's a bunch of templates here on the left-hand side that are kind of about technology. And you'll see that some of these templates do have the crown icon. Those are available in the Pro. So if you only have the free account, unfortunately, you won't be able to use that template. But there are plenty of good ones that I feel are available on the free one. And there was one I really liked earlier. So let me just go find that one. It is, where are you? There we go. Here, this one that says online course. I just click it and it just shows up in like a second on my canvas here. And from here, I can work on changing this to match the vision that I have for this particular event. So all I have to do is click on any of these elements to change them. I'll click on here on the headline, and it's called online course. I'm actually going to call this virtual reality workshop. All right, that's obviously huge and does not fit the space, but that's okay. We can change that very easily. So by highlighting this, I can see at the top of my screen that I've got some formatting options that are very similar to something like Word. I can change the font, I can change the size, I can change the color, the positioning, all those things. And if you've used something like Word or anything in Office, essentially Microsoft, then you've done this before. So I can go right here to change the font, and maybe I'll do something like this one here. And all I have to do is click it and it changes there. And anything you pick, I'm just picking a few so you can see how it's changing on the screen. And that's how you change the font. If I wanted to change the size, I just have to go here and decrease, or I can put in a number myself, let's say 50, and that seems like a much better size to go with. I can click on this box and kind of drag the borders in so it's easier to work with. I can move it around anywhere that I want on the screen in terms of positioning, but it looks really good right here. And let's say I wanted to change the color. So I would highlight it, and I've got this text color option here. These are the colors that are part of the color scheme of this particular template. So I can always work with these. But if I wanted to use a brand new color, all I'd have to do is click this option here. And I can click from this color wheel perhaps and just choose anything that I like. And you can see it's changing on the screen as I'm going through the color options. One thing I think that's important to note is you may have noticed this number here at the bottom, this 6-digit number, that's called a hexadecimal code. And that is how you can use a particular color that you'd like. So if I go back to the brand center, so if I go to brand center and brand guidelines, there's an option here called color palette. And these are the brand colors that you are very familiar with, I'm sure. But if I go here to the color values, you'll notice that all of these colors have that same 6-digit option available. That's their hexadecimal code. So the Cornell red is B31B1B. And if I wanted to copy that and take it back over to Canva, I can just paste that in, hit enter, and that red is right there. So that's how you can find particular colors. If you know the hexadecimal code of any color, you can use that within Canva so it can look exactly how you'd like. If I wanted to change particular elements on the screen, so this kind of circular object in the corner, these dots, these little graphic elements, they're all called elements. Those are found right here on the left-hand side. And if there are any elements I want to use that I think could give my design a little bit of a pop, I can search here. You can see that there are some that are recommended for me. There's things like charts and tables, frames, different collections, but this is about VR. So if I wanted to search for a particular picture that had to do with VR, a lot of these are pro, but if I go down, here's like a little headset and I've got it right there on the screen. Let me drag it somewhere else so it's resized, okay? And I've got this little element now on my screen that's available for me to change. I can edit the image by putting some filters on it if I want. I can crop it. I can flip it around so that it's facing the other way. I can change the color. So if I wanted to use that Cornell red again, it's just sitting there because I already put it in my Canva file earlier. And you can add borders to things as well. You can change the position. There's so much you can do with just this one element. I do want to point out there's an option here called animate. So I'm designing a flyer that is going to be printed, and animate's not going to help me in this case because it's going to be like a static printed thing. However, if this was kind of a virtual flyer that I was going to host online somewhere, I could animate things so that they can fly into the page. So if I wanted that little VR headset to kind of come in from the left when you pull up this document, it adds a little bit of a visual flair that's kind of engaging and people will hopefully notice it a little more. Again, you have to think about the animation in terms of if this is an online file, then the animation could be perfect. But if this is something you're planning to print out, it may not be worth trying for this particular case. I'm going to delete that really quick, and I'm going to delete this. And one thing that I would really like to do to this particular flyer is change the image. I'm not really digging this one. I don't think it really has to do with virtual reality. However, I have an image that I think has to do with virtual reality. If I go into my uploads, I don't know if anyone has seen the ITS annual report, but the cover is one of our colleagues, Otuo, using a VR headset, and he's using it to look at this image of a brain in 3D, which is really cool. You can upload files that you have into Canva by just clicking upload files. You can do images, videos, and audio. Again, remember, Canva can also do videos, so that's an option for you if you want to explore it. And you can upload files directly from your device, or there's a few other options like Google Drive, Instagram, Google Photos, or wherever you've got this photo lying there. And then once you've uploaded it, it's saved into your documents here. So I always have these images here that I can reuse if I'd like to. And I want to use this image of O2O. So I'm going to delete this one that's on the flyer. And I'm just going to click on the one I have, O2O. And there he is. He's right there on my screen. This image is quite large, so I do want to make some changes to it. And there are some things about the image I don't like. It was unfortunately kind of a small room, so I've got some things like a backpack in the corner that I don't necessarily want people to see and things like that. So I'm going to position him kind of where the original photo was. And then I can click and drag the edges if I want to start cropping out things that I don't want people to see and just resizing it so that it kind of matches up better with the text that's on the screen. I'll move this one out of the way a little bit so that we can see this image. If I want to make additional changes to this image, again, anytime you click on something, there are options on the top that let you customize it any way you want. So if I click edit photo, any features that are preceded by the word magic, they tend to be AI centered, but also part of the pro account. So if you don't have a pro account, you don't have to worry about these. But the things that you can use with the free account are things like filters. You can use a few effects like adding shadows, focusing, blurring. If I go into the filters, there are quite a few I can do. Maybe I want it to look kind of cool. I can make him all amethyst if I want, or kind of pump up visually the image in different ways using filters. I can flip the image if I want it facing the other way, for example. And I can add a border around the image if I would like. Again, that animation feature is available in case you want that image to fly in for a virtual poster or something like that. And I can also position this anywhere I want in terms of layering. So if I've got a lot of options or a lot of elements on the screen that I want to put maybe this image on top of other things or have things in front of it, I can position it by moving it forward or backwards in the layer. Another thing that I want to do is if I double click on the image, I can kind of move it around to reposition it within the boundary that I've created. So if I want more of his body in the border I've created, I can just move it by dragging the corners in and out and just kind of reposition him so we've got more of the image available in the frame. One thing that I really, really love about Canva is the use of QR codes. So we've got this event here. I want people to attend and I want them to register so that I know who's coming. And right here, Canva has given me the option to like register now. And there's, a place I can put an email or anything, but I want it to be even easier than that. All I want is for people to click on a QR code and it takes them to a registration page and it's so easy, right? So I'm just going to delete all of this and head to QR code on the bottom left. And it's so easy. All I have to do is put in a URL. I'll just put on the ITS website. Let's pretend I have a registration sheet on the main page. And if I hit the customize drop down, I can actually change the colors of the QR code. They're usually white and black. But let's say I want the color to be, kind of matching the red that I've got going on. So I can change the color there and I can do margins if I wanted to. But when I'm done, all I have to do is click generate code, and it throws that QR code right there on the screen. So I can resize it by dragging the corners in and place it where I need to. If I wanted to add text underneath it, just so people know what it is, there's my text box. I could just do register here and have that ready to go. So I know this flyer is not 100% perfect, but just for the purposes of demonstrating what you can do with Canva, this is how easy it is to just put things on the canvas, how to quickly change things, how to change colors, things like that. So you could just put something together and have, something to show to your colleagues perhaps, and then discuss how to move forward with editing. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you, if I go here to draw, I can actually freehand some things if I want to. I'm not an artist, but I just want to show you what you can do. So we've got things like a pen, felt marker, highlighter. You can change the color of those inks here. And if I just kind of move my cursor around the screen, there I am drawing on it. That looks awful. So if I wanted to get rid of it, I can just go to the undo arrow up at the top and it's gone. That mess is not there anymore. So let me go back. And one thing I think is important to know in terms of building your document in Canva is if you look at the top here, you'll see these three icons. One is a lock. And right now the lock is open, meaning that I can edit this document. I can make changes to it. If I wanted to share this with a colleague, but I didn't want to risk somebody changing anything by accident as they were going through it, I can actually just click it and lock the entire document so nobody else can make changes to it. All right. If I wanted this to, maybe I wasn't sure about the design and I wanted to work on it a little bit more, but I didn't want to like fiddle with this as much. Maybe I wanted to create a duplicate copy, change that, and then keep the one that I like the best. So I could always duplicate this and it would be right there. And I could just work on this second page as much as I wanted. And then if I determine that one looked nicer than the other, I could just delete the extra page. If I wanted to do a two-sided document, I could just add a page as well, and I could get a blank here and work on what the back side of this flyer would look like. Again, if I decided I didn't need this extra page, I could delete it if I wanted to. And let's say this is ready to go. I want to share it with my colleagues to see what they think about it. All I would do is go to the share option on the top right, and you've got a few options here to share, but this is what I would recommend. There's a collaboration link here. And if you go to the drop down, it says anyone with the link can see this. So I think this is really important because if you want to share this with somebody on your team who does not have a Canva account, this is the best option to do that. Anybody can access it, even if they do not have Canva. And you can determine whether somebody can view, somebody can comment, or somebody can edit, and then do copy link, and it's saved onto your device's clipboard so that you can send that link to them through an email, through a Teams message, whatever works for you. And all they'd have to do is click on that link and they'd be taken to a special screen within Canva. They don't have to sign in to see it, but they'll see your document. And if they wanted to, you might have noticed this little icon floating here. They can add comments about the file so that, if they have suggestions about things you can change, or if they just want to say, looks good, they can leave you that comment and it would show exactly who made the comment, and you can reply back if you want, or, check it off that, oh, it's resolved and I don't need to do anything with it anymore if it was like a change somebody suggested. So if you've gone through the editing process, everybody's looked at your stuff, it looks great, you're ready to, in this case, let's say print it. Let's go back to share. And we are going to go to download. So if I click on download, I've got a few options here in this drop down. Canva will recommend a file it thinks that is good to download in that format. In this case, if I want to print something, it's saying that PDF print is best for printing. So that's the file I'm going to go with. I'm going to click that one. And you've got a few options here in terms of downloading the file. I wouldn't worry too much about crop marks and bleed if you're not having it professionally printed. if you are having something professionally printed, this is usually good to check off in case you need the printer to like cut the edges of a document so that the content bleeds to the edge of the page like it does here. I always recommend flattening the PDF so it prints exactly as you see it on the screen. And if you want to include the notes, you can, but that's completely up to you. If I look under color profile, you'll see that there's really just one option for the free account, which is RGB, best for digital use. If you do want to do professional printing, you could do the CMYK and the paid account. Honestly, I've actually printed from here with RGB. It looks fine if it's just like you just want to do a regular run. It's not like super professional printing. And I can click download. And it just takes a minute to think, but it will download onto my device as a PDF. And that's the file that I can use to go print it, post it anywhere I need to, and I'm done. So that's how to use Canva in a nutshell. I'm going to go into the chat because I do see a lot of activity. I see Leora, I might have missed this before. Is there WCM branding within Canva, or do we need to get it separately from the branding website? Oh, thank you, Nancy, for answering that. There are no branded Canva templates for presentation. Branded PowerPoint templates are recommended. They're on the Brand Center. Oh, if you trash a flyer by accident or later you need it, are you able to retrieve what you need, or once it's in the trash, it's gone? I do believe that for Canva, if you accidentally trash something, it might be available for 30 days, but let's see, because I did trash things earlier. So let me go into my projects. And if I go into the trash, yeah, there are a few of the items that I've trashed. You can see that they are there. I will look up how long they sit in the trash, but I do think it is 30 days. So just make sure if you threw something out and you need it to retrieve it relatively quickly so that it doesn't disappear entirely. Can you exclude pro results from the search tab? I believe that you can actually. So let me go back into my designs. Let me just pretend I'm doing another flyer. I think there was a way to do it, and I'm just not remembering. Let me do technology again. And can I filter? Let me look that up for you, Annette. I know that I have seen it in the past, but I just cannot recall where I found that before so that I could take all of the paid options off. Because it can get a little overwhelming and you see a template that you like and then you realize, oh, wait, that's the paid one. So I'll definitely take a look at that for you. Can you review the save options briefly again? Oh, sure, Kenneth. Let me go into the saved options. So if I am going under share, and I want to download it, so I have a copy that I can save. Actually, let me go into a file that I've actually edited. Projects. We'll go into the one I was working on. All right, so if I wanted to like save this on my device, all I have to do is go to share on the top right. We're going to go to download, and you can save it in the file type that works best for you. You can see the options available for this. If I had done something like a video or something that includes animation, you would also see an option for MP4 so that it does, so that it does move on the screen. Because if you do it as a PDF, it's not moving. And this is where you could choose the option that works for you. If I did PNG in this case, here it gives me options to change the size. And there are some paid options here, unfortunately, that I can't go through. But once I'm done selecting the file type that I'd like, all I have to do is hit download and it saves directly to my device. Oh, here's Margaret. What does flatten PDF do? So in this case, when you're doing a design, sometimes when you add lots of elements to a screen, they're added in layers. And those layers all are on top of each other. And, you can put one element on top of the other or lay them out however you want. But essentially what flatten PDF does is it kind of takes all of those layers and goes like this and squishes them down. into a file that looks exactly like it appears on the screen. It also tends to make the file a little bit smaller in size, so it's easier to send around. So that's kind of what flattening the PDF does. I hope that explains it, Margaret. Leora says, I have found that some fonts and other formatting don't translate well to a Word doc for further editing. Is there a way to fix that in Canva or just fiddle with the settings in Word? Well, I guess it depends. So when it comes to fonts, it kind of depends on what is actually available on your computer. So for Canva has a bunch of preloaded fonts that are available, and you just work with those. And in terms of formatting, I don't think you're going to run into any problems because Canva is set up to use these fonts and move them around in a way on the document and lay them out in a way that you want it to look like. So I don't think you would run into any formatting issues within Canva. I do know that Word is notorious for if you want to move something around on the screen, in terms of text with images, you might hit a space bar and then everything breaks and it's kind of chaotic. And I definitely sympathize with that. I have been in that situation. I think you'll find that if you design something in Canva, you will not run into those formatting issues quite as much. So definitely if you're designing something, try doing it in Canva as opposed to Word. I hope that answers your question, Leora. Oh, perfect. I'm just making sure that I didn't miss any questions. I do see a reminder from Nancy to use standard Weill Cornell Medicine brand colors and fonts. And like I mentioned before, if in case you missed it, when you download those Canva templates from the brand website, there is a reference sheet at the very top of each template, and it shows you all the brand colors. It shows you the font that you can use in Canva so that you know how to stay in compliance with the brand guidelines. And again, if you have any questions about the brand, if you go to the brand website, there's a tab here called Brand Guidelines. You can read about how to use the logo properly, how to use photography. Again, there's the color palette. And the custom font, while you can't use it in Canva unless you have a pro account and can upload it in there, it's just good to have this downloaded to use for any documentation you might create that you want to make sure is on brand. So again, Brand Center, brand guidelines, you can always reference this to make sure that you're staying compliant with the guidelines. I want to just double check that I haven't missed any questions. Andre, I do remember Microsoft Front Page. That was a while ago, but yes, it does have similar vibes. Did you say, oh, Lois, did you say this WCM font is available in Canva? So Lois, the WCM font, the 1898 Sans, that is not available in the free version of Canva. If you get the pro version, you can upload a version of the font. However, if you do look at the Canva templates that are branded that you download, there is a font that they recommend, which I believe is Open Sans. Please feel free to correct me, Nancy. But again, you can send those brand questions to brand@med.cornell.edu. Nancy posted that in the chat, and I'll be sure to put that in the follow-up email. I don't want to speak out of turn because Nancy and Dawn are the experts here, but hopefully I am explaining everything correctly. Yes, she did confirm it is Open Sans or Arial for the Canva templates. Is there anything else? I think I might have gotten to everything in the chat. Maybe, did I miss this one? Oh, so somebody asked how they should register a Canva account, if they should use their Seaweed email or their Weill Cornell email or use a personal email. Quite honestly, that's up to you. I tend to use the mindset of if I'm creating things for work, I'll use my work email. I use Canva specifically for Weill Cornell documents. So that's the email that I use. If I was going to use Canva to create a lot of personal documents and files, I would use my personal account. But that's just kind of how I do it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which email address you use. You can use any email to open a Canva account. I know we've got a minute left. I don't see any other questions, but if you do have questions after this, please feel free to reach out. Again, the brand team has already posted their email in case you have specific questions about branding. If you've got kind of technical questions about how to use Canva, I can help to an extent. I'm not a Canva expert. We don't have licensing, but I've used it enough to potentially help. And I can direct you to a place to go in the knowledge base if you do need a bit of extra help. But when I send that follow-up email, please feel free to just reply back to me if you do have a question that you've thought of after this, and I'll be happy to help in any way I can. But it looks like we're at time. I really appreciate you guys attending this Tech Tuesday and learning more about Canva. Hopefully it helps you create beautiful content and that it's easy to use these branded templates that the brand team is so beautifully put together for everybody. Really appreciate Nancy and Dawn being on this call to answer questions specifically related to the brand. And I hope to see you guys at another Tech Tuesday. So thank you guys. Have a great day. And please be careful with the storm that's coming. Hope you guys are all in a safe and dry place. Have a good one.